Nice. Recording in progress. Yes, I remember to say.
Yay!
Take a second to and I need to pull up. Oh, there's Kelly already. Hi, Kelly. It doesn't sound like it's quite coming through the speakers yet, huh? Oh, fine. Turn them on properly.
Hi, Julia. No, it was me. I think I was on mute. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm on a different screen right now, but I hear you. I'm trying to increase our noise here by having loudspeakers, but they don't.
Perfect.
Ooh, can you get through? Yeah. Okay. Okay, I guess the speakers are not quite yet working. Let me see speaker.
Is this a little adjustable thing?
Yeah, you want to try it? Let's see.
Hello, how are you doing? Oh, it's already up all the way.
Okay.
What would you like to?
Right? Yes, yes, okay. Okay. Yep, I think now we got this set up. Get my volume up here. All right. Okay. Now let's, just gonna have to find the board pocket. Did you? Oh, someone is trying to get in.
Yeah, it says that you'll let me in soon too.
Yeah, I just have to find you all. Okay. Oh, there's Courtney. Filling up.
Yeah, I think that is.
That's better, huh? Yeah. Everyone can hear better. Okay. Okay, let's start taking notes. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Nisha.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Courtney. I'm glad you're here.
Hi, Nancy. Can you
How
guys
goes
hear
it?
me?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
Courtney
Good.
joining us from her mobile office.
I can. What's
Looks
that?
like it's working. And Ariane,
Yeah.
good to see you.
Okay. 4, and there is Sherry. We have 5 board members. That's going well. Okay. Can you see okay? Yeah, good. Okay. Oh, and then
I like the red walls in the restaurant.
yeah, that's one of the things I like about this place too. It has these cool looking walls and all the knickknacks all over the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nisha, you have happy looking walls too.
So
Yeah, I
my
thought-
mom, this is actually my mom's office, so she painted all of the walls and everything,
Ah.
but she's not here, so I've commandeered the office.
Excellent.
That's the way to
Hi,
do it.
everybody. Hi,
Hi,
Sherry.
Hi. Sorry, I can't, I have my 1 o'clock meeting, so I couldn't run over there.
No problem. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
you're
glad you're
welcome.
here, Sherry. Well, what do you think, Julia? I think maybe, do we have a quorum? I think
We
maybe we
got,
can.
5 board members. I think we might have a quorum.
I think we might. So let's go ahead and get
Just quick
started.
question. Did you guys get the texts? Did it work?
Yes, I got the text.
I got it at like 9
Yes,
in the morning or
it was-
something.
Excellent.
9 in the
I
morning.
I didn't get it.
I don't think I added you. I added the board members. I didn't send it
Oh.
myself either. Sorry, I was being
It's a
stingy.
great reminder, Julia. I loved it.
Okay, good. Okay. So it is working. That's good. Did you get it too?
Yeah, I got
Yes,
it
okay.
online.
Like 9 o'clock? Okay, maybe it's, I need to double check. Maybe they're on a different time schedule because I remember putting in 11 o'clock, but maybe they are on like different time, mountain time or something. Okay, I will make a note.
Yes, I got mine really early, Julia, but it was actually
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Kelly, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we lost Kelly.
Oh, no.
I mean, here, but we can't hear.
good that I got it. Oh, no. I have it around, so I'll come back in. I know. Don't worry. I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
I think she was saying what I was thinking is that it's not a bad idea for it to be.
Oh,
a
you
little
want it
bit earlier.
earlier? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 9 a.m. it is. Sounds good.
Okay, well, do you think we should get started? All right, so the meeting has begun. And I'm not sure why, but in the agenda that I received, it said that new business was going to come before the minutes. So let's start with new business. Can you tell us about this, Julia?
Yes, I can. So Courtney and I have been working on this for a while. It came out from the personnel committee's request to kind of update the website. And so instead of just going for the website, we thought we're going to do this right. And we don't just add willy-nilly some information. We're really going to think about who this organization is and how we can put it forward. And so this led to this whole idea that I've been harboring for a while. And so Courtney and I have been working on this. And the reason why we're doing new business first is because of the time
Oh, I
difference
see.
in California
Yeah, got
and here. She will need to go pick up her son in a little bit. And so that's
Got
why we kind of moved this forward. I hope that's okay.
Good idea.
So with no further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Courtney. And if you want me to, I can share the screen and you tell me when to forward the slides. Does that sound good?
Yes, that's good. It froze for a second, so I apologize in advance if I get frozen, but I'll try. Okay, is it showing?
I'm working
can't
on
tell.
it.
Oh,
I think I am
okay.
showing it right now. I'm just have to forward to the right. Aha, number 1 here. Okay. I hope everyone can see this.
It
Oh,
has
it's
the
not,
meeting.
it's still not on the right spot. Let me stop sharing and let me do this again. Now it's on the right spot. Sometimes technology is a little bit of a problem here. And is it showing? Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. Come on.
There you go. You got
There
it.
it is. Okay. And you have it in your packet, but it's black and white. It's
Okay,
prettier.
I don't- Okay, okay, good. I see it. Okay, so essentially, when I work on the communications plan, I have 4 concepts in my mind. So Julia, if you want to go to the next slide.
Hope it moves it for you. Come on. I might have to do a stop
And
share.
I pulled,
There you go.
yeah, I pulled the concepts from our mission statement and all the strategic plan for the foundation. because I wanted to make sure that everything that was communicated was going back to our purpose and kind of the plan for the future. Statement. And then you can go. Maybe.
Maybe I moved it.
Hillary said that
Okay, I see it.
help with the bandwidth. I don't know if it helps, but I heard it might. So I don't know if we want to stop video for a second.
Stop video for a second. Can we do that? Oh, all of us stop video for a second? We can try that.
Okay.
Stop video. Okay.
Let's see if that helps in the meantime.
Okay, I'm going to stop everyone's video for a second. Sorry, my German pronunciation was hopping out. Okay. Can you see it? Okay.
Okay, so essentially everything that I can be a post or an annual report or a logo or brand, I try to tie it back to these 4 concepts that are directly related to FMCFL's mission. And so the first one is libraries, MCFL specifically.
Oh, are you still there?
And what the foundation is able to help those libraries provide. The third is advocacy, and that's all the things that Hillary sends us to contact our congresspeople and sign things or go to the board. Sorry, something's happened. The last one is philanthropy, which is the foundation itself and trying to raise funds and being a place where people can donate and support libraries directly. So with that, you can see we have a word that's spelled an acronym, and it's LEAP. And so Julie and I got really excited over that word and how it kind of absorbs everything we do. And we just thought it was really positive and forward thinking and allows for a lot of options in terms of branding. And so we wanted it to serve as like an umbrella word over the foundation. So it'd be like LEAP for MCFL, that sort of thing. So here's a mock-up of a possible logo. And the L would be like a book, and then we have pages. And then EAPs kind of coming off the page, leaping off the page. And then you can go to the last slide.
Oh yeah, hold, okay.
And so we like that as well, because frequently, and I know this from being within the library system, MCFL is confused a lot with Monterey Public and just different libraries, and it's hard to communicate that concept of Monterey County free libraries. But Julie and I really wanted to kind of co-brand, have the foundation be co-branded with MCFL. So we sort of like this idea of we leap for MCFL, we leap for libraries, and we have a lot of wiggle room with different domain names that we can tie in that can bring it back to that concept. And then I also was thinking, I think it was at the retreat, but I can't remember, when Nancy came up with the elevator pitch and we were all kind of talking about what would we say if we were in an elevator and someone said, what's the foundation do? And if you have in your mind, you can just immediately think we support our Monterey County libraries by enriching programs, and we advocate for our library system, and we help foster philanthropy. And that was kind of it in terms of the concept. So your feedback, and it can be big picture feedback, it can be small picture with colors and logo input and that sort of thing. So we're kind of just open ears at point.
I'm gonna turn my camera back on. And I'm gonna have Arian.
Hey,
turn camera
did we grab that domain name already? Did you
Yes.
grab Leap for MCFL?
Yes, we did.
Awesome.
Plus another one that I really liked, I couldn't resist, which is library-lover.org. So we have a couple of really nice ones.
I do like the idea a lot of like really tying us to MCFL. And I definitely would be curious to hear if Hillary has thoughts about logistically if that could impact the library. But having a website like Leap for MCFL feels so directly tied to the library and so clearly like a program for the library, as opposed to being another acronym that could potentially be anything. So I think I do like tying it in a lot closer. I like this whole concept. I like everything from the logo ideas to the thing, but I do really like that Leap for MCFL website, and just like, let's solidify that we're the library's like backup. We got their back. We're here for them.
Okay, so I have a question. Let's say that I have just heard about the Foundation for Monterey County Free Libraries. So I Google that. How will it connect me to leapformcfl.org?
Oh, that's a very easy thing to do, actually. All I have to do on the back end is forward our website to this particular website. I might have done that a time or two before. And so that way you can Google FMCFL or the foundation, and all that is not going away. It'll just connect you to the new website already.
I know you can also change like the information that shows up in Google. So when you Google Foundation for Monterey County Free Library, if you see Leap for MCFL, beneath it, you can have the information that says specifically Foundation for Monterey County Free Libraries and like a little bit more, I think.
And the idea is not to get rid of Foundation for Monterey County Free Libraries. So basically, if this were a for-profit business, it would just be setting up a DBA, a doing business as. So we still keep our main name. We're just changing the way on how we talk about it, because honestly, it's going to make it much easier to answer the phone, because Leap for MCFL is much quicker than Foundation for Monterey County Free Libraries. This is Julia Foster. How may I help you? It's a lot longer. So
Courtney asked if you can turn her camera back on.
oh,
I have,
yeah.
I've just a tiny suggestion on what I can see on the screen right now. Underneath we Leap for MCFL, I wonder if we could say we at the foundation, capital F, support blah, blah, blah. Because I know that we're all aware that we constantly have to try to make the distinction between the libraries and the foundation. And so anyway, that's just a tiny suggestion, that that sentence, we support, say we at the foundation support.
Love that.
Okay. I can't turn
I
my
like that
camera.
idea.
Yes, you feel free to turn your camera back on. I just wanted to make sure that you know, we could all hear Courtney's presentation properly.
Yeah, it won't let me. It's
Oh.
saying,
Do I have to do it? Okay,
Hold it.
I'll turn it.
I think so.
You know, it doesn't let me either.
Sometimes if your bandwidth is struggling, it won't let you turn cameras back on and stuff like
Has
that.
to
too.
start.
Oh, okay.
Now it's
I
working?
think I can now.
Okay.
Maybe?
There we go.
Yay.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So-
think that looks like a great message.
So if you feel comfortable with that, we will move forward with this core idea, and Courtney will work on some colors. If you have any additional input on the logo, whether you like it or if you would like some changes, if you have a different idea. So that will be the next piece that she'll be developing. And once we have the concept fully thought out, then that'll be the new website. And once we have,
Julia?
yes.
I like the idea what Nancy said about the foundation.
Agreed. I've already written it in there.
Perfect.
And I
Courtney,
really like the logo with the open book with the pages, because I could also see that working on a round button or on a sticker, or, you know, a logo on the back on a, you know, a polo shirt. I think like that style, and you tinkering with the colors and stuff, but the book with the pages and then the word leaping out of it. I think that could, sometimes I see beautiful logos and go, well, that's your website. You're not putting that on anything else. You know, it'll get too muddy or it'll wash out. But I think that concept will work really well on collateral or swag or prizes or whatever you end up, because you never know, you want to end up putting that logo on an award you're giving somebody. Something you all wear at an event or something. It's always good to have a flexible logo like that.
I agree.
This is, so Julia, this is Kelly. I've got a question for you.
Yes.
I know, I'm forwarding the domains and everything. Is that going to, will that affect your email addresses or anything else? As you know, we always have to log in, and we've got registrations with the community foundation and everything with our grants and whatnot. That you're going to keep your existing emails, or you're going to go to this new forwarded domains email? Just something to think about. Not really an answer. I just want to make that comment.
Yeah, good. I will write it down. I haven't thought it through that far, to be honest, but I mean, I never mind an opportunity to actually reach out to our supporters. So if that's an excuse to talk to all the different funders that we have and say, guess what, we have this new website, and so I need to have a new login. What do you think? This might be a great excuse to have a little conversation with them.
I like the way you think. Perfect. All right. Excellent.
Are we ready to move on to the next item, or is there more discussion?
That's up to you.
No, I think it looks great. I think it's simpler, it's more enthusiastic and energetic than anything we had going on to communicate with folks we want to meet. And so, yeah, go for it.
Awesome. Thank
Anybody
you.
else have comments for Julia and Courtney? Okay, then let's see if we can move on to the minutes. And if you haven't had a chance to look at them, maybe you can check them out now.
Nancy, I just know this is Kelly. I need to abstain because I was not at the last meeting.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, then, does that mean that we don't have enough people to approve the minutes? Julia?
Didn't we figure out you could still vote?
I was
to
actually
approve
just
the
thinking,
minutes, even if
yeah.
you weren't there.
Yeah, I think so. If you've read them, you can approve them. Unless,
Okay, I move to approve them.
Excellent. Is there a second?
I'll second it because I was there.
Thank you, Nisha. Is there any discussion of the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? I believe we have just accepted the September minutes. Let's see. Oh, and there actually is a treasurer's report today, right?
there was, but
No, Aviv?
no Aviv this time. He is off on Friday. They had a deadline for another tax thing that they had to turn in, and so today his office is actually off.
Okay.
We'll have to find alternative workplaces after the meeting as well, because the office is closed, but that's why he's not going to be here, and I'll be moving the report on the finances to next month whenever he's going to.
That sounds fine. Great. Let's move on to the director's report.
Okay. Do you want me to share the document? Or are you
I'm
good?
okay.
Okay. So, and everyone here at the table has a copy. So we just submitted the grant to the Dunspaw Dalton Foundation, and I'm hoping that they're gonna review this one. We went a completely different direction. I think I mentioned this last time. We've always asked for youth stuff, but I heard from another executive director that they very much favor grants that support the older population. And so this time we are jumping on a grant that the libraries already received, the MORE grant, where they get additional reading assistance devices. I'm just going to call it that. And so hopefully they'll like this, fingers crossed. And I'm just working my way through Monterey Peninsula Foundation. Again, I don't know what is going on there. Their entire philanthropic staff left over the course of the summer. And while they have a replacement, and I've reached out to this replacement, her name is Nancy Interline, and she used to be a higher up in the fundraising world over at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. I haven't heard back yet. I usually like to reach out to them before we submit the application so that they know what's coming, and we've had some sort of, kind of check in with each other. We'll see if I can make that happen, but either way, that grant application will go in on time. And I told you about Sunlight Giving Foundation last month. We've been pushed forward to the next round, so fingers crossed they're gonna, help us fund one of the two projects that we gave them to choose, either furniture for the Pajaro branch, or what we might all prefer, the next phase of landscaping in San Lucas. And we're in the MC Gives campaign. We've been accepted again this year, so we're working on getting everything ready. I'm working with them to put ads together, and so we'll see. Hopefully this will be another very successful one. We have Arian here, and she's been working at full speed to get things together. Later on during the meeting, she'll share with you some of the work, and I sent you a separate email because the document was so large. I felt like we should probably work on that separately. So you'll see all of that coming. We just talked about the foundation rebrand and refresh. So you see all the work that Courtney and I have been doing on the background. And today you got the text message. That was the thank you for letting me guinea pig you. So this is the new service that we signed up for. I took a webinar a little while ago, and they were, trying to sell this service, and it was much, much more expensive. So I found a really cheap version on how to do it. It only cost us $30 to set this up. And now that I know that it's working, and I know that there's apparently a time difference in when the messages go out, I'm looking at using this to, remind people for Words and Wine, or encourage them to buy tickets, or if they, sign up with the MC Gives campaign, to maybe tell them, oh, it's, the last couple hours, maybe you might want to make your donation now. So that's what I'm planning on using it for. The most important thing about this is that we have to always make sure that we get people's expressed consent, that they are willing to receive these messages. If not, we cannot and we will not use the service. And then over this last month, I got something really exciting. I got a call from Mary Jean Vincent, and she has been a long time volunteer with our program at the libraries that works with adult literacy learners. I think she's been a tutor there for about 3 years. And because she likes the program so much and believes in it so much, she called me to let me know that she has now included MCFL in her will. And so this is a planned giving that is happening. And hopefully it'll take a long time until this actually comes to fruition, but it's an exciting thing to know that people.
Julia, I think that I wanted to comment. I think that's terrific. And I also think that many organizations use people like this with their permission in their, appeals for funds. And so
I like your thinking.
I imagine most of the rest of you have seen this before, where an individual or a couple, there's a nice picture of them, maybe little statements from them about why they've decided to do this. And of course, the other thing that we've talked about in years past is being sure that the path to doing this is very clear, which might be something, that the foundation could look into, so that, hopefully at the bottom of this, let's say that if Mary Jean and her husband, agreed, say, to something like this, then of course down at the bottom would be, who you contact so that you can do that too.
I love that. Thank you. I will make sure to reach out to her. I have all of her contact information now. And that might be a really good idea for another video or even just a little text that we can then share through our e-newsletter.
Or any place where you're just listing anything about donations. I think
Yes.
just so that people understand. I mean, that's really a completely different way to donate than just how much am I planning to donate this year.
Mhm. Okay. Oh, and then the next one, Irene and I were working on stuff and she needed tax returns. She has gone through the process of literally going through 30 years of tax returns for the foundation to find out the exact amount that we've been giving to our libraries since the beginning of this organization. So that'll be part of her report. But in the process, when we went into the storage room, we found this entire large box of VHS tapes. So I don't have a VHS player anymore, but I sent them off to get digitized and they just came back. And I'm looking forward to kind of taking a look at all these little treasures that we have and then finding ways on how we can hopefully implement them, maybe have them on our website, little pieces of it, or maybe use them to create new little things for Words and Wine or whatever. But I just thought I'd share that with you. So that was a really fun thing that I found. And I probably will need your help identifying individuals who are showcased in these videos because I might not know all of them. So that was really great. Later on, we'll talk about Words and Wine, and our work on the community events is continuing. And then Arian and I took 3 days to attend a virtual storytelling workshop that has really helped us with ideas on how we can help promote the work of our foundation and the libraries, and it has actually encouraged me to make a little video on why I like the libraries, and I have shared it at the recent United Way employee giving campaign. So Hillary might be able to actually pull it up on the giving website. So hopefully we'll be able to make more of those. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you. So next, Hillary, did you have a librarian's report?
I did. From what I put in the packet, the thing I just want to highlight the most, which is that we are going to the budget committee and into the board of supervisors to make changes to our fines and fees, including eliminating all overdue fines. And that's all patrons, adults and children. This does have to go to the budget committee and the board. We're using the opportunity to clean up a bunch of other fines and fees at the same time. So we're redoing our historical material copying and digitization. We're taking away a lot of little fees, like $2 for a replacement library card, $3 for an interlibrary loan. They just don't make a lot of sense what it costs us to collect them in relation to what the service costs. So more just cost of doing business to replace a plastic library card when we need to. The cards are just not that expensive. And I think there's 100 bajillion cards in the administrative office right now. We're not even short of them. The eliminating overdue fines will functionally cost us about $20,000 a year. That's about what we collected. However, it will also eliminate about 14,000 staff transactions a year, you know, kind of negative punitive staff transactions. So I have faith that we're going to make that up in goodwill and library use and staff time able to be devoted to reference and readers advisory and programs and shorter lines and, you know, other service. So the budget committee meeting is on October 29th. They had to schedule a special meeting. I just looked and the agenda is not posted yet, but it's on the afternoon. And that's 2 members of the board who see budget items before and recommend it to go to the full board. If they recommend it, which I believe they will. I never want to say no because, you know, you never know till they've actually voted what they're going to do. Then it would go to the full board in early November for implementation January 1st. And we need that time in between to reprogram our interlibrary, our integrated library system, do our publicity. The item is also asking the board to approve waiving all past overdue fines in the system. And that's more to the tune of $150,000. But a vast majority of those fines are never collected. Most of them are over 3 years old, which tells you that they just sit in the system, that it's not as if we're giving up $150,000 we would actually collect.
Yeah.
A majority of them are never collected. They really just sit until they expire out with statute of limitations, which is 4 years. So we're asking for permission to waive all past overdue fines on all library cards. So that's the big news. That's been a project we've been working really hard on. In terms of the Moore grant, which Julia referenced, where B is actually on the crew that's ordering playaways, and I'll try to come in person to your next meeting and pass these around the table for you to look at. But this is what I'm talking about. This is a playaway. This is in its case, okay? You open the case and it's a digital audiobook. So I'm holding about the size of a big old iPod if you had like a first generation iPod. So this is the whole audiobook. You don't have any CDs or cassettes you have to shuffle. The buttons are on the back. It runs off one AAA battery. You plug headphones into it, and then there's no moving parts. So this is also great for like jogging or putting in your pocket as you're moving around the house, rolling up in your sleeve if you're working out. It's great for seniors because it has all the benefits of an audiobook. If you cannot see, all these buttons are always in the same place. So once somebody shows you where the buttons are, they're always the same. It has an added feature. You can speed up and slow down the reading voice, which is good. There's kind of hyper audiobook listeners who can listen faster than normal speak. And then for somebody who maybe is learning English, or maybe they've had a stroke or they have a learning disability, they can slow down the reading voice. It will read slower. So part of our Moore grant is to get a collection of these. B has done the first order. So my hope is by your next meeting, I can bring you a few and you can pass these around and look at them in person.
That'd be fun.
But they live in this nice big orange case with all the instructions. And then the case very easily is very sturdy to go in the book drop.
Wow, that looks great. How many titles do you anticipate you'll have starting off?
Well, for the grant, I budgeted $28,000, hoping to get 300 or 400 system-wide. These are not cheap. They are more expensive than the equivalent book on CD because you're paying for the technology as well.
Sure.
So these are a regular adult novel between like $65 and $90 each. So they're not cheap, but I wanted a big enough collection that people learning to use these would have enough to browse. They wouldn't go in and we want to get them excited about a collection, but there's 4, to browse from. We wanted to have a nice big browsing collection.
So
Yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead, Julie.
Okay,
No, you go ahead. I'll ask in a second.
Oh, so you're thinking, so you will probably have at least 300 titles? Is that your expectation?
System-wide across all branches. And then we do free holds and they'll be fully cataloged. So
Okay,
you could do it just like you did your holds and have them sent branch to branch. Yeah.
sounds terrific. Thank you.
Mhm.
My question is, so you have to buy these devices with these certain audiobooks already put on. You cannot switch the audiobooks out.
No, part of the benefit of these versus a downloadable is no connectivity required.
Yeah,
The
that's
person
amazing.
requires no internet, no computer, no technical knowledge. It's preloaded single audiobook versus a downloadable audio where you can get a device and then download different audiobooks on.
Oh, that's fantastic. My brother is someone who doesn't use any other devices. And I mean, this would be perfect for him. And he also cannot see very well. And so again, this would be perfect for him.
It has a bunch of advantages for a lot of different audiences. If you have an iPod docked to your car, it can dock to and play through your car stereo. And I like these for traveling because there's nothing like being on the highway and then your book on CD ends at CD and it says insert CD 2 and you're doing 80 and you're not going to stop for another hour. You cannot insert CD 2. The other thing for a lot of older adults with manual dexterity issues is reaching in and lifting out a CD and then getting the CD aligned in the tray. It's very sturdy. There's no moving parts. So like I said, as soon as we have a nice handful catalog for us, I hope to bring them and kind of pass them around and start having you spread the word and show them off. The other thing I'm doing for the Moore grant right now is finishing the paperwork to enroll us. Exciting paperwork. This is the California State Library's Braille and Talking Books Library. This is a national program from the Library of Congress that provides free reading material to the blind and visually disabled. And we're asking to become a deposits collection here in California. So our staff would have it. The way it works is there's special digital audiobooks and special players that are designed for the blind. And we would become a place where you could come register for the service. You have to individually register because it's meant for the blind and visually impaired, and get a player and then borrow the audiobooks. This service also works completely through the mail. So once someone is registered here in Monterey County, they can have everything mailed to them directly from the California State Library if they wish. But there's no hub here in Monterey County to register. So we would become a hub for people to just do that. And once they've done the initial registration, they can get books from us, they can get books from them, they can return anything in the mail, they can request it from their librarians. It's a very nice, just added service to have. So we've been working on that. And again, once we have show and tell, I will come to your meeting and do show and tell and pass around the objects and such.
Show and tell.
Yeah, and on my report, I just wanted to point out at the end, the new website on the value of California public libraries from the state library. Please, please take a look. That was a good deal of research where the state library did this project to say, we need to quantify and cite and prove the value that we know we have. And it's a beautiful report with lots of sheets you can just print out, infographics, but also citations. If somebody says that's not true, you can follow the citation and go, yes, it is. So, the economic impact and all that. So please do take a look when you have some time. And I brought B to talk about summer reading program and winter reading program, which are two reports attached. So I'm going to turn it over to B to say anything she wants about summer reading program and our plans for winter reading program.
I just lost my notes for some reason because I clicked on the values of public libraries to see that. So I need to get back my notes. Okay, there it is.
That happened to me too, B.
Yeah, I tried to open something else and something else popped and
Yeah, me too.
it's away. Okay, so you can see the summer reading program report. To us, we feel like it was a success. We really feel like even though last summer people wanted to do more in-person stuff, for us to start the whole contract process, we start in January for summer reading program, just because the county process of contracting with performers is lengthy and very complicated. And anybody who's worked on it with the county would know that. Courtney's aware of this process too. So because of that, we start planning things in January when the pandemic was still pretty bad. And so everything was planned to be online. But a lot of the patrons were getting used to this online presence. So we also, we did have this online component, and because this is our second year using Beanstack, we used it last winter and we used it this summer. We're getting more traction with that particular program and getting more signups through Beanstack. But we had good numbers in our opinion, considering I think before the pandemic, we were in the mid 2000s to 3000s for signups. And considering this was 100% virtual, I thought it was pretty good that we had almost 1,400. If you look at the numbers there, I kind of tried to highlight them. Total signups was 1383, and we gave away 1,265 books because our focus is reading. And so we want to give everybody a book. So they get a sign up book, they get a finisher book, and then that's for the kids. And the adults and teens can get books as well as logo prizes. So we have cute little other things. And we had a special cute, super cute logo prize this year, which was a piggy lunchbox, which had a piggy and the Mo Willems Elephant and Piggy book inside it. Sorry, Courtney, you didn't get one. I'm so sorry. I know that I know that Atticus would have loved it. It was very cute. Anyway,
Sad.
so that's I know, I'm sorry. So that was that. We had 327 attendees at the youth programs. Let's see, at the youth and family programs. And we had really successful adult programs because all of our adult programs were workshops this year. So we had 159 adults and 32 teens attend our adult teen program. So we had paint parties, we had nature journaling, we had a poetry workshop, and we had calligraphy. And so they were all workshops where people could pick up a bag of a kit with the tools they needed for the workshop. And these have proven to be super popular. People love these programs. And so we did pretty well with those. And so we had some good attendance at those programs. Another serendipitous thing that happened for us was that right before summer, the state was offering these great grants. They said, we will give you money to help you with your summer reading program. And so we applied for it and we got it. And the aim of the state was to give us money to do the programs that we would normally. And because we had all these great workshops planned anyway, the focus was on teens. We had these teen adult programs already on deck, ready to go for the summer. We said, can we use what we've already scheduled? They said, absolutely. So the state funded almost all of our adult teen programs. So that gave us a really great savings from the money that you all gave us for summer reading. So we just inserted that into the area where the foundation gave us. And the only thing that we actually booked extra was with the paint parties, because they are so popular that we booked an extra few programs for paint parties. And so, but with that savings that we managed to have from the state grant, which was very successful, they also gave us money for production kits so that people could make videos, home videos for our YouTube channel. So we have really nice little production kits with iPads and tripods and recording equipment so that staff can make the videos that we put on our YouTube channel. And so with the money that we saved from summer reading program, we're hoping to do a winter reading program because we had one last winter. It was our first winter reading program and it was really quite successful. We really realized that people were getting into this whole online, doing things online. So the Beanstack signups for summer reading really increased this year, and they did pretty well last year. And so we're expecting again to have really good turnout for our Beanstack winter reading, but we're going to do a dual program where people can sign up via Beanstack or get their reading log at the library. And so we're going to do it in person or online, whichever people feel most comfortable participating, they can participate in that way. So that's our plan for the winter reading program. All the numbers for the budgets are in there in the report that's enclosed that Hillary sent to you. The other thing that we're continuing that we did during the summer that we're continuing that was funded by the foundation is we're doing monthly activity bags. So we give out 600 bags every month with make and take activities or take and make activities to the kids. And they absolutely love them. This is super, super popular. It's gained so much traction during the year. We're actually worried if we ever stop it that we'll have a revolt or something because parents ask about them all the time. And some branches actually even do their own take and make bags, grab and go bags. So we're continuing to do that. We have an activity for October, two in October, one in November, one in December, and the December ones we'll put in all the advertisement for this winter reading program, so that we'll get the word out to 600 kids who pick up activity bags. And so we're trying to get the word out for people to participate in the winter reading program. And the goal will be to give them books and to give them incentives for reading. And so that's the plan. And it's all written up there in the report for you. And if anybody has any questions, please let me know.
Yes, this is a good time for a question for either Bea or Hillary.
I have a question for Hillary.
Yep.
About, waiving the overdue fees. So would that encourage people to become less responsible at returning the books and materials?
You might have to speak up. I'm not sure if she can hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm asking about the idea of waiving the overdue fees.
Mm-hmm.
Would that encourage people to become less responsible at returning material books at the time that they should? I wonder how you're gonna present this to the public.
Fortunately, we have a lot of peers in public libraries across the country who have done the research, and they've said all overdue fees functionally do is prevent people who cannot afford the fines from using the library, that they're actually not at all correlated with returning items on time. There's just no statistical correlation. I think one of the biggest studies I saw a few years ago was the city of San Diego, and they'd studied where people owed overdue fines and poverty, and it was inverse. Poor people owed money and stopped using the library, and it had nothing to do with items being returned on time. So it's an old-fashioned kind of out of date. If we punish, people will do better, but there's actually a ton of research saying it's not true. But that's a very common, that's the theory on which overdue fines were based. So I do believe I will have to answer that question before the board. Absolutely.
Julie, this is Kelly. I've got a question for Hillary.
Go ahead. And then you. Go ahead, Kelly.
Or put it in chat, Kelly, if you're having trouble with the audio.
Okay, and this is a question just on people who are concerned. I think I am. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. Just on COVID, on the walk, the takeaways, the walking. Is there any concern where people want to know how they're sanitized? I heard about earphones and things like that. Is there a treatment or somehow you'll advertise that these are, been cleaned up after somebody uses them?
So right now, our items being returned are still going in quarantine from the book drop for 24 hours. And if we gave away earphones, we're going to start by giving away pre-packaged ones that they will get to keep. So they do not have to return the earphones or use earphones that anybody else used. Will be part of our selling people on the service is we'll buy a batch of earbuds, but it'll be in a baggie, brand new, and they get to keep it.
Perfect. I knew you guys were 2 steps ahead. I just wanted to hear it. Thank you very much.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions for Hillary and Bea? Okay, thank you so much.
Hang on, somebody else.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor, I don't know how true it is, but for the librarians, their medical has been cut and their salaries have been cut.
That is not true for us.
Well, how about the people who are in the libraries?
For our staff at Monterey County, not true for us.
Oh, okay.
I cannot speak for all the other library systems in the county. I know that, for example, Monterey Public went through severe cuts. Carmel, Harrison Memorial, severe cuts. But no salaries have been cut. And we actually made it through. We did not lay off. We did not furlough. We did not freeze step increases. We made it through, and we're hiring. So this is all good news on our side.
Well, I hope that's true, because what I had heard, that there was some major cuts in salaries.
If anybody is asking, as Julia said, and you all know, many people get their library systems mixed up or think every library system is the county, you know, Monterey, Pacific Grove. You can feel free to give them my card or say, you know what, talk directly to our library director, because I can point them directly at the budget book and talk about what's here at Monterey County. I'm not always the most up to date on Monterey Public or Pacific Grove or Salinas, but I can also find out if that's where they think. I can find out from the other library directors what's going on. So feel free to refer any of those types of questions and concerns directly to me. It's not a problem at all. I'm happy to answer them.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions for Hillary or Bea? Okay, thank you very much.
Nancy, can I just do one more addition? I'm sorry. I forgot to mention the different thing about our winter reading program this year is that we're actually having more programs. So in the past, we've only ever done programs during the summer, but on the form that I have there, you can see that we have programs planned for the winter, which is kind of a fun addition to this year's winter reading program. And again, we're doing the popular ones, the ones that came out super popular, which are paint parties and nature journaling. And we're also doing an animation workshop with Tailwise. So I just forgot to mention that part because that's the difference with the winter reading program this year. So thank you.
Thank you. That sounds great. Let's move on to words and wine, Julia.
Oh, so words and wine. If you look through your package, you see a whole bunch of attachments. So it's been really difficult to just get people to give me a quote. There have been several instances where I reached out to folks with help of Sherry, with help of Nisha, to try and get people to give us a quote to cater this particular event if we were to hold it at Palma. And I've only received one quote back so far. I'm still hoping for another one. And the quote that I received was from Tarpies, and I've attached it to the packet. You'll see it. It's the Coastal Roots Event and Catering quote, and you will see at the very end the balance if we were to go with them. It's $18,479. So if you then look at this other piece of paper that you have, the venue cost comparison, that looks like this. If we were to go with the catering option, the final cost would be similar to what we would have to pay if we were to go with the Hyatt. So we have now two that are more or less the same in cost. The Marriott is the cheaper one, but the difference is that it is all indoors. It does not have any place for us to add an outdoor terrace or allow people to be outside. The space is very large, but it is all indoors. So I just wanted to make sure you had all the facts there so that you can decide which type of venue you feel. I'm sorry?
There's nothing wrong with having an all indoor event.
It would certainly be, we
You
wouldn't
don't
have
to worry about the weather.
temperature. Yeah, we wouldn't have to worry about temperature, that's for sure.
Can I just jump in? So I remember when you were talking about Palma, you said that they had the one room for that was 170 people or something like that. And then they had the gym for larger, and they also had outdoor, an outdoor area where we could host an event, right?
Yes, they do have a elongated courtyard that we could probably put some tables up for sure, yeah.
Did any of the other options, so the Marriott doesn't really have outdoors, did the Hyatt have an option where we could go fully outdoors or just partially outdoors? Because I just asked because we genuinely don't know what is going to be happening in April. And I just wanted to ask if that's an option because it's something to consider, that flexibility.
The Hyatt does have only the option of doing sort of like a hybrid event. So I don't know if you've ever been to the Hyatt where the conference space is for them. They do have the option of we can open the doors and we could maybe have during the reception, we could maybe have the bars out there to encourage people to go out there and mingle. It's also a very large space. But they don't have the option of having it fully outdoors. So we wouldn't be able to sit outdoors.
Okay.
I know it's so difficult to make a decision about something that has so many unknowns in a sense.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was thinking, because it's just like I'm with Nancy Osonio on like, I don't want to sit outside in the cold, but also like I don't want to have to cancel an event because we decided to go with the Marriott and suddenly we are not able to hold an event because it's not outdoors or it doesn't meet certain requirements or whatever, you know.
I don't go for outdoor stuff during the evening.
You don't go for outdoor stuff, yeah. So
Too many of them, or it's just it's cold.
I mean, it's
Would this at the Hyatt, would it be in the conference center or would it be in the main building where they have those smaller rooms?
no,
And
it
we
would
have
be
the,
that.
we wound up having the silent auction outdoors. Between the bars and the silent auction, people were really crowded.
No, it would be in the larger space where they have the conference center that also has this gigantic room, similar in size to the one at the Marriott and Embassy Suites whenever they're fully extended, these gigantic rooms. And if we were to go to the Hyatt, it would, we would probably have the silent auction in the foyer, which is also fairly large, but then we do have the additional terrace. There's two doors that.
Yeah, the bar with me, I was just there for a function.
Oh, you just went, okay.
So I've been there.
So I am not sure how to move this forward. Do we want to do a vote on all the different options and I can record the vote, or how do you feel most comfortable moving forward with this idea? The problem that I am having is that as long as we don't have a location, everything else for the event has to be on hold. We cannot ask for sponsorships. We cannot move forward with marketing. We cannot move forward with tickets because we can't tell people when and where it's going to be.
Julie, I have a question. Can we like not cut our losses, but spread ourselves? Is there an opportunity with maybe one or two of these places to say we want to be on the books, but to allow us to withdraw our reservation? Because like I think it was Courtney who said, we don't know what's happening in April. Can we reserve two different places and one will work the closer we get to April, as long as we're not penalized for withdrawing a reservation from one place or the other? I don't know if that's going to work, but everybody's looking for more, for people to use their facilities. I'm just wondering at this particular time, someone might be willing to extend us that kind of temporary reservation or something.
I know for with the caterer, with Tarpees, I know that they are basically holding the date for us, so that's April 30th. And I think informally, Palma School is also holding it. I don't know if it would be, I don't want to drag anyone unnecessarily along. I'm also thinking at some point we will emerge from this, and I don't want to, burn any bridges or leave a bad taste in somebody's mouth because of, basically double booking on purpose. And it actually wouldn't solve our issue of the marketing, because how would I phrase it? Would I say, well, maybe we're going to have it here, or maybe we're going to have it there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not a good idea.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Thank you.
Sorry, it just
Not a good idea. Settle on one.
I mean, I think also just Palma itself offers that flexibility. You know what I mean? It offers us the option to get closer to April and be like, okay, this is the state of the world, So we wouldn't, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we said, oh, now we have to have an outdoor event and we're going to take a hit. But it also allows us to really plan until like last minute with them, I think, because they've offered us 3 options and we can, tell them, hey, this is what we're planning. This is what we're worried about. Are you open to maybe not saying we're going to have it in this specific area, but that we're gonna, and I'm assuming we want to have it at the school, but we don't know which room we want to use or which facility. And that allows us the flexibility of a smaller group and we get a smaller room, a bigger group and we get a bigger room. The world is not where we want it to be, and we have to move outdoors rather than canceling our event. So that's why I just really like that Palma option, because it gives us 3 super good options that will just like cover almost anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas the other 2 are, I mean, they're beautiful, but they just don't have the same flexibility. And I mean, I think if we're worried about flexibility, you just have to pick the most flexible option, right?
I think maybe conversation's over and we should I think Palma sounds great.
I'm fine with that. I mean, it is definitely more expensive, but the sooner we can start on getting the sponsorships in, the sooner we're able to hopefully make, get enough sponsors in to then say, okay, and we've been able to already make up the cost of how much it would be to hold this event before the event starts. That's always my dream.
I know of a couple of people who put their sons through Palma that I could personally strong arm, so I'm up for that.
I always love that.
Yeah, I'm willing to do that for you, for us.
That's exciting.
I also wonder, so the 18,000 we have right now for Palma is specifically with the Tarpies catering.
It would not.
Could we theoretically still, if we say, hey, okay, let's go with Palma, could we theoretically look at other places maybe for another month or 2 before we decide for sure? So that cost could theoretically come down as well.
I was going to say something to that, because it definitely could. The type of request that I made to Tarpies was to basically envision the same style of event that we always have, which is the sit down with plated dinner, which given COVID and my conversation and research that I did with Hillary, makes sense to have that. That seems to be the safest option. But if we wanted to look into basically making it a little less fancy and having pre-packaged individual portions already ready that the caterer would then bring, that would probably bring down the price a bit, because it would allow them to probably cut down on service staff. But I might be wrong.
Who's Tarpy? You don't have Tarpy.
Yes, Tarpy's is actually the restaurant that's now been taken over by Coastal Roots. So that is the quote that you have in here. So there's definitely room to play. For me, the difficult thing is if I don't have a location, then I can't tell Courtney, come on, let's go work on the marketing stuff. And we can't send out a first, little email or just notification to our supporters. Guess what? Words and Wine is coming in 2022. Mark your calendars, any of those things. That's all stuff that has to be held back until we have the location. So.
Well, I think we have the location.
Well,
I haven't heard anyone say anything contrary to going with Palma. And so let's hear if there's anyone who doesn't think we should go with Palma.
Other than it's a more expensive one.
It's a more expensive one, yeah, but I guess that's just the cost of doing business these days.
So do you mean it's more expensive than the Marriott?
Yeah.
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 Quite a bit.
Okay.
In terms of food.
But I think Nisha's made a pretty good case for the flexibility that we need. And it sounds to me like the Marriott, even though it's less expensive, doesn't offer that flexibility. Have I been listening correctly?
Yes. They just don't have the type of room.
Yeah. So I think,
Where they have that mezzanine.
yeah, I think this year we're paying for flexibility.
Yeah, but they don't have an outdoor space.
Why are you guys so fixed on outdoor space?
Because of
Really,
COVID.
that bothers me.
Okay.
Who cares when you're all standing around and talking, really, do you really care about the outdoor space?
It would probably make certain people safer. It would help make sure that we have everyone.
It's also, I think it's also entirely possible that we could face laws that tell us we have to be outdoor.
Right.
Because that for a while they did say no indoor gatherings, and it's entirely possible we will get slapped with another law. I don't want to be outside. I do want to be inside. But if we get hit by a law that tells us we have to be outside, we will have to cancel our event if we do not have the option, which, you know, it could affect our attendance numbers, but it's much better to have lower attendance numbers and an event than canceling this and losing possibly a lot of money on deposits and everything.
Should we hold a formal vote? Or do you feel?
Do you want to make it in the form of a motion?
I motion that we go to Palma for Words and Wine.
Is there a second?
A second.
I'll second.
Is there any more discussion about the motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. I think the motion has passed. So we have selected Palma.
We have a space, yes.
And so Julia, I'm also imagining that nothing has to be firmed up with Coastal Roots, like as to exactly what we want from them for a while. So that I think is another nice part of the flexibility of this choice.
Yeah, it gives me more time to possibly reach out to whoever else we might be able
Kelly
to find.
recommended possibly a quote from Rancho Cielo.
Oh,
Rancho
to try
Cielo.
that. Sherry
We don't
tried
do that. Yeah, I'm on one of the boards there, and they don't do catering. They just do the cook for the Friday night events for the.
Oh, okay.
Good to know.
Yeah, thanks for checking on that for us. Sherry.
Yes, not a problem.
So
But
if
I've got another meeting, so I've got to leave now.
Okay.
Thanks,
Nice to see
Sherry.
everybody. Nice to see everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
if we're going with Palma, that means that Words and Wine will be April 30th, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. My mother asked me to text her immediately.
So cute.
I think getting out a save the date is really good.
Yeah.
Let's get on people's, because people may, want to specifically hold that date for us.
Exactly. That's a great idea.
It'll be after the tax season, people will be ready to go.
Oh, yes. That's true. Okay, yeah, that allows me to already start a flurry of activities. Courtney and I can work on the save the date piece. I will now make sure that I can tell Maka Mitchell's agent that we have a location, and so that we have timing, we can start working on stuff with him on that end. I can reach out to more caterers if we find more. And so Coastal Roots does not have to be the only option, but it gave us an idea of what to expect in terms of cost. That's sort of what I took from it.
Okay, let's see if we can move on to the next item, the board orientation folder.
Yes.
Hey, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I just wanted to thank everyone that was able to give feedback for the prospective member and the board orientation stuff. It definitely did help me figure out what kind of things were really important for new members, and also maybe a way just to be a refresher for current members as well. Attached to the packet is the prospective member package. So this could go to someone that is interested in joining the foundation as a board member. And I figured it was just good information to have as far as things that, are important for the foundation. So that being like the mission and goals, program highlights for possibly the past year, just a very brief history, and kind of like the decades of impact that the foundation has had. So
If I may jump in, the decades of impact is where she pulled 30 years worth of tax returns to make sure the numbers were correct.
yeah, so some of that information is still missing as far as like looking at particular programs. But as far as the overall contributions, I was able to date that back to like 1991, which took some time, but it's there. And then the bigger part.
Nice graphic.
Oh, thank you. As far as the bigger part is the 196-page orientation binder. I know it's huge, but my thinking was that at least all the information is there. So as far as editing the next rounds, if you're like, oh, this information isn't necessarily important to have in a packet, we can just put it in a folder in BoardSource or Google Drive, that at least we have it all available. So what I was thinking as far as maybe getting your edit impacts and things like that is emailing you guys a folder of all the Word document formats so that you guys can add comments to things. Because I know it's going to take time. But like I said, some of it, the reason why it's so long is because it's like tax documents and things like that. And those are just like 15 pages in its nature. But parts of the orientation binder that I'm very excited about that I know were recommendations through some of the forms was getting like a glossary of terms for board members and just kind of understanding the language about board documents and tax documents and all that kind of stuff. And like what is a quorum and what does that look like for our organization? Those are attached at the very end of that orientation binder. So those would definitely be things that would go, I guess, like in an actual orientation meeting.
I think that sounds great. And I'm looking forward to those Word documents. I'll check them out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all so much. I guess, do you guys have any questions or comments, concerns? Okay.
Then I'm going to jump in here. So I hope you don't mind, but Misha and Luis, I was hoping to guinea pig you both on the orientation folder to kind of, okay, awesome, to kind of see, you know, is this the right information? Is this the right amount of information? You know, all this stuff. How should we, you know, how often should we go through this? How much at one time? So maybe I'll reach out after the board meeting to both of you to see if we can either schedule a virtual or hybrid or depending on how you want to participate, that we can maybe start on certain chunks of it so that at the end of however long this takes, both of you will feel that you will have a full understanding of how this foundation works. And then later on, we'll be able to take your knowledge of being a board member to other organizations that you feel passionate about. So that's part of what I'm hoping to do as well, to equip people who join our board with the skills to then join other board. Not that I want any one of you to leave, but just so that you know. So, okay, cool. Then I will send a follow-up email to the two of you and we'll schedule something to get in there. Okay.
I do have one more question, I guess before it moves forward. I'm sorry, I don't want to take up too much time, is as far as like with all this information, would you guys be interested with me coming up with like a recruitment strategy or like, I don't know, I guess if that's something that y'all are interested in too, as far as like, would y'all like me to post these things? Like if you are looking for new members, like you could go to volunteer match, or here are possible chambers of commerce or locations that you could put out that you guys are looking for new board members.
I feel like we should like get our stuff together first. So I think it's a good idea to look at what places we could use, but maybe we shouldn't be posting things until we've figured out the 196-page document.
Developing like a strategy to like whenever you guys are ready to recruit new volunteers. But if that's something that y'all want to do, that's totally fine. But I figured, you know, if you wanted me to help and see what things are available out there, I can at least like compile a little something.
Compiling a little something would be great. Something that you don't spend a great deal of time on, just to let us kind of get the lay of the land, you know, and then we might say, oh, this looks really interesting. You know, can you develop this in much more detail?
Okay.
And Luis has a comment.
Yeah, I wanted to say that this idea of the board development new committee is good for me because in addition that I want to learn how to become a good board member, I think we can link this to the idea of this new logo, Leap. I was thinking more of Leap for people. The ultimate goal of the libraries is people, right? To educate people, to make people to become better members of their community. I was thinking that there is a lack of knowledge in the community about being a board member. There are a lot of boards everywhere. The participation is too low. There are just certain people that participate. So why don't we use this idea of a board development to also prepare material for public to have in the libraries youth or adults coming to little seminars or talks on how to become a member of a board, how to be more participative in the entities that make decisions. So this is something I've been thinking about because that's the reason I am here now, because I thought that in my community, our participation is very low in these kind of groups or entities or ways to make decisions that impact the entire community. So I like the idea of board development. I like the idea that we could use this material, of course, prepare for different audiences to impact, to encourage people to become more aware of their possibilities, their rights, to deal with their decisions that impact their lives. So that's what I wanted to say.
Great. I love that. In the future, I'm happy to look into if there's certain key documents with just a brief overview, if we prepare those and have a Spanish translation available. That
would be great.
One of my little hobbies.
Okay, well, I wonder if there are more comments about the board orientation folder right now, or if you're ready to move on to the next agenda item. I will take that silence as an indication that we can move on to the draft of the foundation COVID policies.
Yes. Whew. First of all, a huge thank you to Hillary, who took the time to kind of walk me through how this all works and shared several documents with me and links, some of which I have added into this document. It took me quite a while to actually wrap my head around how this works. And this draft that you have in your packet is based on what we would have to think about if we were to hold an event. And I haven't yet looked into ways of how we would have to adopt them if we were to have meetings, simply because so far, since we're renting out space from a larger office, we have just been complying with what the larger office has had for their particular COVID guidelines. So, but I wanted to get your feedback on whether this is going in the direction that you feel would be helpful. I was thinking of maybe using it as a checklist. At first, I was trying to set this up as a if this, then that. But then the one side became so heavy-sided with the indoor, if this, that I just decided to sort of lay it out in a different way. So if you look at that, obviously, we're still encourage social distancing. And then I thought about areas where people might be queuing to make sure that we then maybe have little dots on the floor like we see in grocery stores to make sure that people don't stand too close to each other. We would also decrease the number of people sitting at tables so that there's not too many people sitting together. Then I was thinking of music that we usually have. We probably should only have that set up outside because, you know, that's, you know, I forgot if we have singing there. I don't remember that. It's been too long. But if there were singing, for sure, we should probably not have that indoors. And then I was very careful on how to write the mask wearing part. Obviously encouraging mask wearing, and then people who were serving food, we would ask them to make sure that they are wearing masks and that those masks are actual masks and not some sort of, you know, fancy bandana thing. We also need to think about, no matter where we hold the event, we'll probably have to buy a whole bunch of sanitizers to have on the tables, and maybe at different, you know, when people come in so that they can sanitize, we'll have to have wipes ready. So if we use any
payment surfaces that, you know, if they're touched, that we kind of wipe them in between. We'd also encourage that, you know, like the door handles to the bathrooms and light switches would be wiped off, just to kind of be safe. Obviously, hand washing, I think we're going to have a lot more signs at this event than we had in the past. I was also thinking that we would encourage our participants to mostly have touchless financial transactions, so that, you know, and that spills over into the type of software that we're going to use for our auction items, so that people will then be able to maybe do it on their own cell phones, or if they have to do it on a, you know, on one of our computers for the payment, that we then wipe the surfaces in between, but mostly no cash handling. For eating and drinking, and those are actually then, once I talked to Hillary, I was then able to find some other ideas. Many of these ideas actually come from what the Pebble Beach Resort is doing, because I found their entire 17-page document on COVID handling. So what they're doing is any past canapes that they're giving out, which usually during our reception part before the main part, we would have as well, and that's also in the quote. That all be individually wrapped, and that the server is the only one giving those out, so that you don't have a bunch of hands on the trays. No self-serve water pitchers, and that all drinks have to be served by a server, so that you don't have, you know, for fundraising, it's nice if you just have the bottle of wine on the table and people can serve themselves, but yeah, that probably shouldn't be doing that. And that we definitely have to go with a plated meal. Obviously, ventilation is a big piece. I know actually for a fact, I've seen the air filter that they have at Palma School, so that already made me feel good. It's already sitting in the room, but they have doors and openings at all angles of this particular room that I'm thinking of. So those can be open so that there can be lots of airflow. And then obviously the idea of having certain pieces specifically outside, so that, you know, there's lots of in and out intermingling. Then for the silent auction, I mentioned that we would wipe down the surfaces, and that we would have a software that would be able to be more interactive in terms of people using their own devices. Then Hillary had this great idea of possibly those people who might not feel comfortable with their own devices, that we could have a couple people, volunteers, and yes, it's going to go for Arian, to be walking around with iPads that the library is willing to let us borrow for that day, to help them if they wanted to, you know, make a donation via Fund a Need, or bid on a silent auction item. So that could then help bridge the gap a little bit. The event reception is going to be outdoors for sure. And we should probably tell people to just bring several layers of clothing, so that, you know, once it gets cold because the sun goes down, that they are comfortable. So that was my first draft of all the different things that I was able to come up with in terms of COVID. And I invite you to give me feedback, either now or in a written format, whichever you prefer.
Julia, this is Kelly. Well, you said the Pebble Beach Foundation had a COVID
No, the
protocol,
Pebble
and
Beach
who was
Resort.
that?
The Pebble Beach Resort. I just went on.
Ah,
I literally started the search by trying to find information from other fundraisers, so organizations that might have a fundraiser. And I ended up going to the website for the Pebble Beach Resort, and I found it's a PDF document that you can find. And I think it's about 17 pages long, on all the different areas where this, you know, where they have to make changes to the resort in terms of front office staff and at the desk, and whenever they get guests around. And then I was able to find the part on catering and events, and so I copied a bunch of stuff from there. And if you need it, if you're looking for it, I'm happy to send it to you, since I've already found it.
Julia,
yes, I would. That's why.
Got it. I'll send it to you. I'll make a note.
Even though it was, it was buffet, you serve yourself.
Oh, where's that?
It was at the Hyatt.
Okay.
And, of course, they had the two bars for whatever they want to drink. The wine, they poured the wine at the table.
Okay.
waiters did.
The waiters did. Okay.
And, but you can go back, seconds or thirds in the buffet line, but you got a clean plate, which is what they have always done.
Yeah, yeah.
And, they go with that clean plate. But the main course and the dessert was all buffet.
The main course and the dessert was all buffet. Okay. Wow.
And actually, once we got inside the building, we did not have to wear masks.
Okay. I'm taking note. Okay.
And what they did is when you check in, if you're going to be bidding, you give them your credit card right then.
Okay.
So there's no cash.
Ah.
Give them the credit card. And if it's a silent auction, well, then you gotta, find out if you got it or not.
Got it,
And
okay.
even the live auction too, but you get your receipts.
I mean, that makes it really easy to make sure that you get all the payments in. If you get everyone's credit card at the beginning and then you just hit boom. Okay. Okay.
So it wasn't as complicated as you got it.
Yeah, I know this is fairly complicated. I agree. It felt pretty complicated writing it too, but
And there were probably over 200 people there.
over 200 people. Wow. Wow.
Which it was a little bit smaller than it had been the previous year.
Yeah. Okay. Which event was this?
Sabu Safari.
Oh, the Sabu Safari. Okay.
There's a function that makes big bucks.
I know they make big bucks. I'm not sure how to,
Yeah.
bring that over, but I would like to make big
No.
bucks too.
Yeah.
Julia, one thing I noticed is there's no mention of COVID vaccination. And I know that many places you either have to show proof of vaccination or you have to have a recent test. And so I don't know whether that's something that we should think about. And I was wondering when you and Hillary discussed it, if you discussed that.
I don't recall us discussing that actually.
Well, I
Right
know-
now, and unless the venue, right now, there's no countywide requirement for that unless the venue is requiring it. So that would be at the moment, and I think as Nisha said very clearly, things can change between now and then. But right now, there's not even a countywide indoor masking requirement. There is for county buildings, but there's not a countywide requirement.
They've been debating it, right?
Well, the board has voted it as an ordinance to take effect at the end of October if we're in substantial or high transmission, but the county health officer can institute it at any time. So, but no, if I'm not, you'd have to think about how you're going to manage that.
So in the libraries right now, Hillary, no masking, nothing about vaccine, like I can just.
No, we are a county building and county facilities require masks. You are masked all the time, indoors, everyone in our libraries, because we are county buildings and the county instituted that for us. So if you were doing an event in one of our meeting rooms, masking would be required all the time.
Yeah, and I know when we began this idea of having some sort of a policy, I think we said that we were hoping it would be in line with what the libraries were doing.
Well, at the moment, we're not doing indoor events. You're ahead of us. So, yeah.
So we don't even have a protocol for indoor
well,
events.
we have our workplace protocols, but we are not offering meeting rooms in general right now, for example. And to use one of our, like if you said we want to have an event in a meeting room, I have a way to have you do it. Every person is going to have to sign an individual liability waiver. And to us, that is effort prohibitive to have an indoor event, right? And because we're a county building, indoor masking 100% of the time, which means to offer food and drink, you have to send the people off by themselves. You could go stand in this 6-foot circle and take a few sips and then let somebody else stand in the 6-foot circle. You know, that's how we eat lunches at work now. So at the moment, we don't have a protocol for indoor events. You're going to have much more flexibility in a private venue at this time. Yeah. And we have heard the masking requirement that the County Board of Supervisors passed to go into effect if transmission are high says you can exempt if everyone in the room is vaccinated, every single person. So that involves checking vaccinations. And if one person in that room is not vaccinated, everybody's masks go on.
Yeah, and I think there are, at least I'm been told that there are places where that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and venues can still have different regulations or preferences. I know, for example, in-person conferences are coming back for libraries, and they're very hesitant. One conference made vaccination a requirement to attend at all. You have to be vaccinated, you have to prove you're vaccinated. Another one went hybrid to keep people separated. Another one canceled and went online again. So it's kind of everybody doing.
Yeah, and it seems like there is another option, I mean, that I think they use, which is you're vaccinated or you've had a test within a certain amount of time before, whether it's leaving to get on a plane or attend an event. And I think I would like to see that we have some verbiage about vaccination. I don't know, and I don't know what that verbiage should be, but it seems to me that to have a policy and not mention vaccination is, you know, I would just think people would wonder, well, gee, what's the deal with vaccination? And it could even be something like, I think we've been saying, that it will be tied to some county policy or whatever, without spelling out what it will be.
Well, you could have a policy flexible as county or state regulations and advice changes.
Yeah,
you could put in something like that, which basically meant, okay, if county policy changes, if state, so let's say the state all of a sudden starts regulating restaurants again for masks, and you're in a restaurant, you're going to get regulated, you know, and that could be the county, it could be the state, you know, and so you could go, that would kind of cover you to say, well, we had planned it this way, but now anybody sitting within X number of feet is going to have a mask on unless they're actively eating or drinking. So now we're going to regulate it this way.
Right.
No, you could do something like that as well.
Right. So my suggestion is just that you add some verbiage about vaccination. I'm not saying that we're saying that everyone has to be vaccinated. I just think we need to make some reference to it.
Okay. I certainly do that. Not a problem.
Any other comments or concerns about this evolving foundation COVID policy?
Do we want to put a point on the thing that's maybe just at the top, that regulations are ever evolving, so that we just kind of cover that base? Because ideally we get to April and we can throw the whole document out the window.
That'd be great. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I just think maybe like right at the top, we could say like, this is how we establish our guidelines and they are subject to change.
Right. And subject to laws and regulations.
Yes, that's a really good way to put
it. Taking note.
Okay. And while Julia's taking notes, was there anything else you folks wanted to add about the foundation COVID policies? Okay, then let's move on to the holiday lunch. And we're considering whether we should have the holiday lunch. I don't think we did last year. And so what is your pleasure this year? And it's not quite so far away that we can put it at the top of our document. If it were a little farther away, we could just push it down the road, but maybe we should decide about that.
So in the past, we've held it at the, what was it called? The Steinbeck House, and Lynette had treated us to what is it called? The Corral de Tierra.
Yes.
But she was not able to join today. She had endless meetings going on. So we can't ask her about that. But I do know that the Steinbeck House is open again and is serving lunch. What I do remember from the past is that they usually do not serve lunch on a Monday. They are closed on a Monday. So if you wanted to, I could look into making a reservation for December if you all felt comfortable. I just felt like I needed to bring it up simply because, you know, that's something that we usually do. Obviously, we didn't do it last year, and I'm not sure where everyone is this year, if it is something that you wanted to do. Either one is fine with me. I just didn't want to assume in either direction.
With the Steinbeck House, the rooms are small.
The rooms are small, that's true.
And you are kind of closed in.
Yeah.
Maybe pick
We
someplace
need to look at
where
a bigger
there's little
space,
more
huh?
area. And,
Yeah, maybe that wouldn't be the best space. That's
Yeah.
true. Maybe a bigger
but
space.
as you came out, I mean, there's other places that
Yeah.
have larger areas.
Julia, one suggestion might be that you just explore this a little bit more and then email us and we can email you back. Because if we wait until the next meeting, maybe that's a little too late. What do you think?
Sorry, I was reading Hillary's message. I'm sorry. I realized.
Well, then let me try again. My suggestion was that you find out about other places, thinking about what Nancy's just said, and then email us and get feedback from each person. And then you can just tell us whether or not you think you're going to be making a reservation.
Yeah, I can just put it out as a majority vote. Maybe I can find 2 or 3 locations. Hillary already said that she will not be able to join simply because of her status.
I can't have mask off for an extended period of time because I will be working, but I can sit with you mask on and cheer and celebrate and see you all in person.
Okay.
So maybe I'll
You
just.
could, I think I like Nancy's idea and to do the email, but you could also look at Tarpies because they have a lot of big rooms.
Oh, they do. I didn't know that.
That's a good idea. Gives us a chance to check out their food.
That's right. And it's between the peninsula and Salinas. So.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes from my house.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, now that we have that established. Okay, anything else you folks would like to say about the holiday lunch?
I think it used to be Portobello's in South Salinas.
Oh, yeah, they have a
Stoney's now or something.
store. Okay.
They've got a large area.
I ate there. They have a large outdoor area.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Stoney's and
I think
interesting
they're
food.
expanding to the other side too.
Ooh,
I'm not sure.
okay, we might be getting some ideas here that I can send to you that are covered outdoor spaces.
Excellent.
I will send out a follow-up email to see, I'll give you a little voting thingy, and then we'll see if we have enough votes to do it, and if not, you know, we discussed it, so then it'll be maybe next spring. Maybe I'll bring it up, you know, we don't have to wait a full year. Maybe we'll see if next spring we're ready.
Yes. It looks like the last agenda item concerns the Monterey Chamber of Commerce. Julia?
Yeah, that was just a question. The dues are coming up. I just received an email, and I just wanted to make sure that you're still comfortable with me, not me, but the foundation having a membership there. I haven't really used it, to be honest, but it is a good thing to have. I'm just, you know, want to make sure that I bring up whatever regular costs on a regular basis for you to kind of examine and determine whether it makes sense or not. So this, if we were to have the membership again, it is $226. They do recommend an additional donation to some committees, some, but I don't know if we have to do that.
Well, the nonprofit is 220.
Yeah, it's $226 for a 1-year membership. So.
I remember the Salinas Chamber.
We are members of.
Is that a nonprofit rate?
As far as I know, yes. I mean, I can ask,
Yeah,
but
because I know that we always ask that for legal services.
okay.
Yeah, confirm and make sure. They might give you a little bit less.
Ah,
Yeah. And both Salinas, I mean, it'd be good to be members of Monterey and Salinas.
Yeah.
Make sure it's a nonprofit.
Got it. Yeah, we definitely are members of the Salinas Chamber. They were nice enough. I did not renew any of them last year, to be honest. But the Salinas Chamber gave us however you want to call it, a stipend and covered the cost for last year. And well, Monterey, I simply didn't pay, and nothing happened. But now they're back, and so I figured I'll just make sure that this is really something that we want to do. I agree, since we are countywide, and Salinas and Monterey are basically the two big areas that we might want to have a representation on their chambers of commerce. So you okay with me double checking that this is the nonprofit rate, and then once I have the nonprofit rate, going for it again? Okay.
That sounds fine to me. Is there anybody who wants to discuss this anymore, has a different idea about it? Okay, well then I think our formal meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. And I'm sure you can
I just
stick
wanted
around.
to add to just keep having some good thoughts for Ron. I think about him every once in a while.
Yes, thank you, Kelly. Thanks for saying that. Absolutely.
Good thoughts for on. Absolutely. I was a little busy last week getting this meeting ready, but I was planning on sending him a little update on, you know, what's going on. Maybe knowing that we have a date and a location now for Words and Wine, whether he's going to attend or not might make him happy. And just to kind of make sure that he feels engaged, I'll make sure to reach out to him.
Good plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. I know this was a lot that we threw at you.
Meeting. I learned a lot.
You've been busy. Okay. Well, if nobody has any additional questions, I am going to ask for your permission to turn off the meeting. And I think those who are here will have a little snacky, and then I'll see you next month.
Sounds good. Thank you, Julia.
Good luck. Nice to talk with you all. Bye-bye.
Good to hear you, Kelly. Bye.